Hey, good morning, you two. Hi. Yeah, this is Lily with me. Yes, boy, I'm a little stressed this morning. I couldn't really sleep last night. I felt very anxious, and yeah, concerned about what's going on in the news. Um, I just finished watching a video by um, our First Lady Michelle Obama, and it was a discussion about about the Nigerian girls who were kidnapped, and I thought it was very good what she said. She was well spoken and said what she needed to say. It also had me thinking, what I think was you know making me feel anxious these days. Um, one thing I could say, from the start, to bring our girls home, bring those 200 plus young ladies home. Could you imagine you're a parent and you send your children off to school, and then you find out that the whole school, all the students were kidnapped? It's a horror story. It sounds almost unbelievable, but it happened, and it happened in April, and the school was warned before of possible terrorist attacks. And but the girls, they want education, and I don't blame them. I think when you educate women, girls, you have a more solid um, community to live in. It's the mothers, the women in general, who teach their child, their sons, how to tie their little shoes, their shoelaces. Little basic things, how to put on your sweater, how to put on your pants, how to comb your hair. These are the basic things in life that every society has to teach their children. And so here you have young ladies between the ages of 16 and 18 kidnapped, and kidnapped by a group called Boko Haram. And I was told that word means that they're against Western education. You know, I mean, whether you don't like a Western education, but educate, and it's just very stressful. I believe in empowering women, empowering the weak. No one wants to be a victim, and here these young ladies are being victimized, and then the threat of them being sold into I guess it'd be sex slavery or whatever. But it's a real horror story for me to hear, and I feel for the parents and relatives and friends of those girls who were kidnapped. That's the first thing I really wanted to say. The next one I want to talk about is, well, I recently got my DNA checked, and coincidentally, um, my African heritage indicates a very strong percentage from the region of Northern Nigeria and Cameroon and the Central African Republic, where they border. And these are the areas where these terrorist groups are living. Wasn't it something? Yeah, I'm a female, and DNA shows a link between that area. Could you imagine? I could have been living in this area in that school, you know, but here I'm in America, and for a long time, I was wondering what my African heritage was. What location in Africa, and in my mind, thinking, are they missing us, the descendants of these people who were stolen from the continent? What do they think about their children that are lost? And here in the 21st century, you have children that are lost. who was stolen also, you know. So something history, you know, doesn't really change. It might change the form, but the essence of it is still the same. Someone being taken away from their loved ones and for someone else's profit, you know. Um, so I ask myself now, you know, how will this incident, how will it affect the rest of, you know, their society? They get all the girls back alive. They get sent back to their parents and their families. You know, what will this mean for the rest of the community, for the country at large? You know, how will they protect their their children and their girls in particular? This is very concerning. We have a group, and I don't know why they have such a resentment for women being educated. You know, they had mothers, and I'm sure their mothers taught them basic stuff. This goes further, I think, about, you know, people's fears and this war, as I call it, against women. Why this fear? Why this hatred and this strong desire to oppress women? It seems that the common denominator between women's education, you know, oftentimes that you hear that the, the, the extremist Islamists, that even though not all Islamists feel this way about oppressing women, you have many godly um, people of Islam who have their sons and daughters become educated and want to reach their highest levels. But this is regarding those who don't. And what's provoking them? I've watched tapes about the Prophet Muhammad, who started the religion of Islam. And here he had very humble beginnings. He married a woman that was much older than him, who was an affluent woman, and who funded him. They eventually married, and she funded his activities. So you would think uh, an institution like this would be sensitive to the needs of women. But unfortunately, the people who carried on the new religious tradition um, used it against women. So I'm concerned. Why is this? You know, why even in Saudi Arabia, women don't even have the right to drive a car. Many of you in the what they call the Western world have women, and they drive everywhere. You know, I've met a female bus driver. You know, and it's just basic, you know, means of getting around. You know, so I, I just I just think it's something. You have a religion, and that the locations where it is practiced, the women are being oppressed, and it just has to stop. You know, um, I was told that, you know, this wasn't an isolated incident. You have other groups. You have another group that was in Pakistan, and another terrorist group. They're part of the Taliban, I was told, and they had shot a young Pakistan woman, a young woman, a student, in the head. I was told that she did survive, and that even um, um, Michelle Obama had even met with her, you know. And here, this young Pakistan female, um, her life was trying, you know, they were trying to snuff out her life solely because she promoted education and wanted the females in her community to be educated. But she is from a Islamic community. I think she is Islamic, and this is happening. And it's it's just seems very problematic in certain um, regions of the world that women cannot freely educate themselves. Women should have the right to um, control their purse. I think it's this um, atmosphere, this political atmosphere that makes some women feel like that, okay, to get ahead in life, you have to, someone might think, oh, they have to sleep around. And they have to have what they call it, in some communities, they call it sugar daddy. That means usually an older man or a rich man and gives the female money for sexual favors. That's nothing more than prostitution. And I say to the women out there who are listening to this video to do not compromise. Your body is precious, and to please educate your daughters especially, and of course your sons, you know, and control your own purse. And I think this type of thing that you hear people, women following celebrities or athletes like the incident that happened with the L.A. Clippers, the woman that was involved with Donald Sterling, V's Stiviano. Yeah, that's her name, V. Stiviano. Here she's a pretty girl. She comes from an extremely large family. She has 15 siblings, and she decides to tape this man. And you know, you can do better than that. You don't have to compromise yourself or feel like you gotta tape someone and and eventually use it against them or give the tapes to your other friends and then they pass it on for them to get money. We're thinking shallow. That's a street mentality. God wants better for us. Stop thinking like a street woman and start thinking with the right head, with integrity. You know. My next thought about this that I mentioned, with Islam and women, I think of the Nation of Islam that's here in the United States, and I don't know whether the organization has spoken out about these young women in Nigeria who were kidnapped. Um, I watched many of the videos, and the Nation of Islam did say that their interest is to uh, convert or have the African American to follow Islam. And I think in light of all what's happening in Nigeria and other Islamic nations, that what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to those people who join that organization and they have said in videos, we don't want to oppress the women and they're important. But like Islam's beginning, he didn't oppress his wife, Muhammad. But look what happened. And my concern with the Nation of Islam is that it gets its following. People may be convert to them. And then what will happen if they get their wish of getting territory, their own territory? Um, what will happen to the women? Will the women slowly down the road have to wear outfits to cover everything, like what happened in the Taliban? Um, will they then be slowly told that they cannot be educated, or maybe educated up to a certain grade, and then that's it, and then slowly that they can't travel by themselves? This is very alarming. You know, I I feel that you have to look at the whole deck. You look at those nations that do practice Islam, and then you compare how the women are treated and what their economic power is. and then you compare their status with women from other states or other countries that don't practice Islam, and you weigh it out. Is Islam a safe religion to practice for if you're a woman? So I'm concerned, for this channel that I'm on, my concern is that the African American woman um, who's being persuaded to go into Islam, down the road, what will happen to you? What will happen to your daughters? Look at what's going on the world, those nations that do practice it, and ask yourself, do you want this for your daughter? And I'm surprised that a nation like Nigeria is the largest country in Africa, at least I think it might be the most populated, the largest number, you know. And so you have to be, you have to really wonder what is going on. How, how is Nigeria going to recover, you know, the women? So these are just my thoughts. It's not a hate speech. My intention with this video is to show people parallels that here you have something that's going on. Women's rights, women and young ladies' rights are being taken away. Basic rights of education, and yeah, possibly come from that region of the world, according to my recent DNA test. Here for history doesn't seem to change. You know, um, yeah, I'm thinking that that Africa would be, everybody would be happy. It's it's oppression. I'm wondering whether these people, whether the descendants of these people who are doing these things now are they the descendants of those who sold us into slavery. This is troubling. I thought we have outgrown this, but evidently, that nothing really has changed in Africa, and that yeah, I'm thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice to return back home to Africa? I know I wouldn't want to return back to Africa under those conditions that a woman can't even, young woman can't educate themselves. So it's something that they're enslaving themselves, their own women, and it's they should be ashamed of themselves. Those who are doing this. So I just want to walk with my eyes open and want you all aware about what's going on and how it's affecting others. So again, you two, these are just my thoughts, and peace to you all. Bye bye.